So today we heard that Aari McDonald is out for the remainder of the unrivaled season. And this is where, if you are the Indiana Fever, you can't become Sentiment Basketball Club. You can't become Friendship BC. Because Aari McDonald, first of all, Aari McDonald did a great job when she came to the Indiana Fever last year. She did a great job. Like, I am absolutely believe that Aari McDonald did a fantastic job. That being said, Aari McDonald is out for the remainder of the unrivaled season. She is out for it all. She played 6 minutes. She was injured last season. Then she came back and she played 6 entire minutes, which isn't ideal at all for any player coming back from an injury to get re-injured, something new, and play 6 total minutes. And if this was, again, just a small injury and there was no history of this, it would be one thing. But Aari McDonald has not had a fully healthy season since 2022. 2022. She missed 16 games in 2023, missed 14 games in 2024. Hence why she got benched. And in 2025, only played 20 games and got an end of season injury. So let's just go to game log here. So we look at the game log, even 2023. She starts the season, plays a little bit in May, plays the start of June, and is then out for a month and a half of that season. In 2024, it was something similar. She was a starter. I think she was a starter. She got into the starting lineup. She was coming off the bench start of the year, then got into the starting lineup for a few games, start of June. And then missed everything post-Olympic break. So she gets to the Olympic break, gets injured over the Olympic break, and plays 12 minutes after that. 2025, obviously we know, picked up a big injury against the Mercury. And that's unfortunate. Yeah, she was having one of her best seasons. Especially being on a team that... She played in the Commissioner's Cup game, didn't she? Yeah. She had 12 points in the Commissioner's Cup game. And by the way, like, they don't win this Washington game without her. Like, this Washington game, I know they were up big and it went bad, but, like, they were on a bit of a slide and Aari McDonald steadied the ship. Aari coming in helped the Fever so much last year. But I don't think the Fever can work off sentiment. Like, you can't have your backup for Caitlin Clark be injury prone, especially if we don't know how Caitlin's going to hold up. We can work on the assumption that last year's injury was a fluke. We can absolutely work off that assumption, but I don't think a team should be backing up a play. Like, a team should be getting an injury-prone player to back up a player who missed the entirety of last season, pretty much the entirety of last season due to injury. I know she played 13 games. She wasn't healthy for any of them. She was about 80% healthy. She was about 80% healthy in a couple of games, and then was about 40% healthy at one stage. It's one of those things where you've now got Aari and Caitlin, who don't work together as with Aari at the one. We've seen how bad Caitlin is off the ball. Like, we need to stop the let's turn Caitlin Clark into Steph Curry experiment, because there is a level of feel off the ball that you have to have that Caitlin doesn't. You can run sets for her. You can run plays where she comes off pin downs. That's not using Caitlin Clark off the ball. It's not using Caitlin Clark off the ball, but that is every time Caitlin Clark doesn't have the ball in her hand, the goal is to get the ball back into Caitlin Clark's hands. Just put it in her fucking hand in the first place. Like, Caitlin is not an off-the-ball specialist, and she never will be, nor do I think Caitlin's ever going to be a good off-the-ball player. Especially when you take into account putting her off the ball takes the ball out of her hands. The negatives of taking the ball out of her hands, and you don't even need to go heliocentric on it. You just don't play her small forward. Like, you don't play her small forward. Whatever you do, you don't play her small forward, which unfortunately was what Ding was doing. Stephanie White was doing with Aari McDonald. When Aari played the 2 and Caitlin played the 1, it worked. Absolutely. I can't remember what game it was. It was Atlanta when Kelsey Mitchell was benched for a lot of their big run. And I do feel like Aari McDonald absolutely had a big impact in that game. But we have to take into account that she's been injury prone. The best ability is availability. And even in unrivaled, she hasn't been on the floor, which is a problem. Like she struggled to be on the floor for years. And you've now got a situation where this is an important year because this might be the last time they all run it back. And if Aari's healthy, Aari could be one of the best backup point guards in the league. Don't know about her fit, but with Caitlin off the floor, she could be one of the best point guards as a backup. If Aari's not healthy, you're then looking into your 2 developmental slots at a point guard. And I don't know. Is there anyone in the draft that would be thrown in as a developmental slot? And I don't even know what happens when it comes to rookie contracts. Like, can a player sign a full contract with a different team if they're on your team as a developmental slot? I would assume yes. Otherwise, you're just holding the player hostage. Otherwise, or because I don't think you're paying, they're on the rookie scale deal. Otherwise, you're literally like, you're basically holding a player hostage if you're paying them less. And just, they want to be called up for another team and they're just sitting in purgatory. So, like in the second round, maybe Ledger Walker is going to be there in the second round as a young player. Maybe they'll sign a Serena Sundell. Maybe they'll bring her in. Maybe someone like a Megan McConnell will come in as like a developmental player if Aari's injured to play. But like, look, she hasn't played very many games in years. Like this is not a new phenomenon. She doesn't play. She very rarely, like, since her second season in the league. Oh, come on. Since her second season in the league, she has played just over half the available games. Of the 120 available games, she has played in 70? She's played 70 of 120 games. Like, that's not ideal. And now an off-season injury meant that she played 6 minutes in Unrivaled. That is an issue. Like, that is a factor. A lot of people don't want to talk about it and just say, oh, yeah, run it back. But I'm like, that is a huge factor. Just like, obviously, they're not talking about running it back. No one's really mentioning Odyssey Sims. One, Odyssey Sims will cost too much. And two, like, we all know Odyssey Sims absolutely would not fit with Caitlin Clark. She is like, it was like playing with 2 Kelsey Mitchells. It worked. It worked at times, and at times it looked real bad. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.